Well, welcome, Tony Shepherd. Doyen of national business of Western Sydney-based sport, and the only bloke I know that was around during the Spanish flu, so can then give us a historical perspective on recovery. Now, of course, Tony, you're more famously than these days as a hero of Western Sydney sport. Is that the one? Is that your?
Oh, definitely not.
Oh, sorry, I forgot. It's this one, isn't it? It's the Wanderers. Is that you?
No, that's not us either.
Oh, it must be this one.
You've got to get an orange. There you go.
The Mighty Giants.
I've got to get you a jumper. I'll have to get you a jersey.
I've got a hat and a scarf. Of course, it's sat in the office for months.
I'll get you a signed jumper. Okay.
And as soon as I want to actually use it, stupidly, of course, it went home a week ago. So when the office got flooded, so I didn't have my prop. So, but mate, let's start at that point with sport. The chairman of the Giants, one of the darlings of Western Sydney community. Other people make jokes about the Waratahs and the Roosters. They play in front of empty stadiums all the time, so what would the difference be? But what's your read of when you think the opiate of the masses will be back for the masses in Western Sydney, the league, union, soccer, AFL? When do you think you'll be playing, and will you be playing in front of people?
Well, look, I think firstly the NRL's taken the lead on this, and they're determined to get going on the 28th of May in closed stadiums, and there's no reason to believe that they won't make it. They've got approval of the authorities. So I think the AFL is more cautious, and because it's a true interstate competition with many teams.
A bit more coin too. It doesn't need to be as desperate.
Western Australia, Queensland, New South Wales, it's a bit harder. But I think the AFL probably will get back in early June. That's what we're working towards now. And that will be in closed stadiums. Going from closed stadiums to open stadiums, I think, is going to take a lot longer, because the way this virus is contagious, there's no doubt about that. And in an open stadium with a mass crowd all huddled together, I mean, the chances of passing it on are much higher. People have got it at weddings and dinner parties and things like that. So it's that sort of environment is not conducive to separation. So it might be a while before we get back to open stadiums, but I think we could be back with closed stadiums, with the AFL, the NRL, rugby perhaps, and then football by early June. I think that would be good, because that gets the code back on TV and gets people entertained and gives the fans something to do. At the moment, all you can do on Saturday is watch the races. It's not too bad, but it's not too good for your tab account. But anyway, so I think we'll get back, and I think it's important from a psychological point of view, not just from a business point of view. I mean, the AFL employs, a couple of 100,000 people. It's a multi-billion-dollar business per year. To have that shut down has a big economic impact.
I know you like me.
We're running on a lean budget. A lot of our people have stood down, not making any money at all, and many of them are on part-time.
I know you share my view of the role of sport as more than just entertainment, but a manifestation of community. And we probably need that more than ever coming out of the back of this, won't we? That sense of people changing habits back to not isolating as much as they have for re-engagement.
I agree, Chris. I think it's important. I think it's vital for the Australian psyche. And, there are some people that perhaps don't enjoy sport that much, but I would say the greater majority of Australians love sport and really enjoy it, and they need this. And when people are depressed and down and haven't got a lot to do, I mean, having sport on television is a fantastic fillip for them. And I think it's quite important in terms of confidence and just the psychological impact of it is important in this time of crisis.
Well, maybe putting one of your old hats on, long-term chairman of the BCA, former boss of Transfield. You must be pretty excited that they're talking about building the new harbour tunnel using the same technology you used, 30-something years ago?
Yeah.
The original harbour tunnel. It's the true test of time. But just going to your mindset, the role, when we do flick the switch to recovery, we've got recovery, reform, re-engagement. What role do you think major infrastructure is going to play, particularly in Western Sydney, in that process of recovery? And is the public sector going to have enough money to pay for what they already had in the pipeline?
Well, look, the budgetary pressure is going to be great coming out of this, because all of the governments, the states and the federal governments have, credit to them. I mean, they've sprung into doing whatever they can to help people, to carry people over, particularly, workers that are dispossessed and what have you. I mean, they're in a bad position. Infrastructure will be vital, and I hope they don't penny pinch. I think this is a time when you should really say, look, I'm happy to borrow money to do this, because it's for a good economic cause. It's there for the future. So even during the Great Depression, we built a hell of a lot of roads and railways during the Great Depression, in New South Wales in particular. And they're assets that are still with us. So that's got to be the spirit, I think, going out of this terrible health crisis, which is turning into a terrible economic crisis.
My old man was built in the Depression. He's still with us too, luckily. So some things will do stand the test of time.
People worked on the Sydney Harbour Bridge during the Depression. It was a big employer. Yeah,
sure was. It gave that spirit of recovery. In that, I'm talking to a few people, and one question I'm tending to ask them is, the lobbyist in me says, never let any crisis go unleveraged. There's got to be some gain for all the pain we're going through. It's a time for some sort of crazy reform ideas that mightn't get up at other times. No longer a silly left versus right, developers versus greenies, whatever.
Yeah, I think it is.
If you were your druthers, what would you change the joint? If the committee will accept all the change, what would?
I think the first thing is the fact that the Federation doesn't work well has come out in this crisis, and the bushfire crisis and the drought crisis very clearly. I think we do need to redefine the relationship between federal and state. I think that would be a massive step forward. It may even require constitutional amendment, but I think the public would be up for it now. I think the National Cabinet actually has worked far better than anybody thought, and certainly far better than COAG. I don't know what COAG's ever done in the last 10 years. It costs a couple $100 million a year. I'm not sure what it's ever produced. But we do need a new federal-state agenda.
It hasn't worked so well for AFL with AFL and state of origin. Federalism hasn't worked so well in AFL either in that way. So it needs some reform. Right. But so you'd go the ultimate. You'd go constitutional reform might be the thing that the punters might cop a little more of. Because I think there is that opportunity that people will accept change now. Surely it's not. You had a business council. Will it be business as usual for the Australian economy back into this?
Yeah. Well, yes, it is. Look, without being controversial, also I think workplace relations
we like controversy.
Need a shake-up, because they've been proved to be very inflexible. You try and change working hours and you give people part-time work and you give them the job seeker, it's become very complicated because the flexibility is not there. And I think we're learning a lot more about working from home and working odd hours and what have you. That, I think, is an improvement out of this. And I think we've got to recast our workplace relations to be far more flexible, far more user-friendly. And I use it not just from an employer point of view, but from an employee point of view. And, I don't think we're in that era anymore where, you get the odd exception where people, see their employees their enemy. I mean, they're their greatest asset. So
how's life changed in
mindset?
How's working from home life changed in the Shepherd Graham household? You've got Netflix addicts.
They reckon I'm terrible, but the girls are trying to homeschool. Mary Ann's trying to do her new job, and I'm doing my job, and they reckon I'm too noisy and too disruptive. So every now and then they sort of kick me out and I have to go outside. Yeah.
Have you settled into Tiger King, or what's the what's your pleasure on Netflix?
Oh, I like that Ozark show on Netflix.
Oh, isn't it good?
That is outstanding. It's outstanding.
Really, I've got into that too. But I grew up watching Justine Bateman in Family Ties, but a brother, Jason's all the rage these days. But it's one of the popular flicks. So, mate, going forward as we come out of this, do you see much change for you? Is home working now? What personal change? This incredible transformation we've been through. What do you see happening?
It's a deep question. I think I'll value my time more, and I think I'll value the capacity to spend a little bit of downtime more and more time with the family. I think little bit of a wake-up call, you know. Just, I'm starting to interconnect a lot better with the family than I ever did before, and I'm enjoying it.
I hear the girls are hoping you get back to the office, but, you know, that's a whole other information. Well, mate, thank you for being one of the champions of the West. The work the Giants has done, it's not only on the field, and while I know you're still looking for that elusive flag on the field, you've won so many premierships off the field. You are a tireless networker. It takes one to know one, and I'm in awe of your presence to facilitate and generate contacts through that. And we'll look forward to the time, my friend. One thing I do hope when the government does flip the switch to recovery, state and federal, that name AK Shepherd is at the top of the list of people to lead a charge, because that innovation, that drive, I can see a recovery commissioner right in front of me. So
thanks, Chris.
Thanks, mate, for your time.
Yeah, well, thank you. And the West will lead the recovery. It will lead it, Chris. Was
that a go Eels I heard there? Was that Imagine the Wanderers, the Eels, the Giants all taking it. I mean, the Eels finished the league season on top so far. We're leading after 2 rounds. So maybe all three. Maybe that's recovery we need. 3 teams to come through all at the same time. Go Westies.
Absolutely. Okay.
Thanks, Tone.
Thanks, mate.